Everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we've got a pretty good show for you this evening regarding Julian Assange and supposedly the charges that started it all, and the fact that, well, he's now been vindicated. They have dropped the rape investigation into Julian Assange. That was really never a rape investigation in the first place. It was a means to an end to put this guy behind bars and try to silence him. And that same effort is still being carried out today. I have Christy Duff, part of actionforassange.com. They do a video visual every single Wednesday night and activism across the country to try to bring more light to the very dark subject that is the persecution of WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. Christy, what's your take on this latest development?
Well, I actually just tweeted this out that, it's good it's closed, but I think some of us supporters are feeling a little bit bitter about this because, like you said, this is what started it all. This is why Julian went into the embassy. This is why he was pulled out. He was arrested on defunct bail. Charges were never filed in the 3 or 4 times it was opened and closed. And now he's in Belmarsh awaiting extradition hearing in February. And so it's a little bit expected that, yes, this would finally get closed and pushed off to the side because Sweden, in its essence, succeeded. It did what it needed to do. It was a tool used by the U.S., by the CIA, to get Julian Assange into custody and to bring him to the U.S.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more that that's exactly what this was. It was simply a tool in order to get him behind bars and now get into this process, because if there was any validity whatsoever, we knew that there wasn't any years ago, he was supposed to be out of jail in September, and they just kept him anyway.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
If that didn't scream in the face of any kind of semblance of justice, the fact that there are government officials now coming out in Australia saying, wait a minute, we're not going to let this extradition happen. But yet more powerful government officials in that same area saying, no, we're probably going to let it happen. He's probably going to go there. Tell people where this stands legally, because as I understand it, this has been pushed until February, but he has no right to actually talk to his legal counsel. He is basically behind bars and in solitary confinement 23 out of the 24 hours a day. We've already seen a deterioration in his physical and mental health. So what can we expect in the coming months via this trial?
Yeah, so they just had a case management hearing on Monday, the 18th, where I believe his lawyers tried to bring up the fact that he doesn't really have access to a working computer or a computer at all to really look at the documents or even prepare for this case. The judge essentially threw that out and just said, well, I can't really do anything about that. So yeah, we're in a situation where he's in solitary confinement. He doesn't have a lot of access to his lawyers. Getting court documents has been really tricky through this process. For a long time, they had to send them via mail. They couldn't just walk them in when they did their lawyer visits. Now we've heard that they are able to bring some things in, but we've also heard that his mail was being held for months on end too. So who knows where he's at in the process of catching up on these documents and knowing what's going on and trying to prepare. Now they have another court case management hearing in December 19th, I believe. They may, on the defendwikileaks.org website, so they may look at those dates in February again. I don't know if there's a chance they could get pushed back. But yeah, they are slated for the end of February in 2020 right now. So not a lot of time.
Yeah, and again, let's see if he even makes it that long. I really do believe that they just want this guy to die and have it be an example. I don't really think they want him extradited here. I really think that is the plan. Maybe I'm wrong. The extradition to me is quite a farce. And once again, the only person getting any traction in the United States is Pamela Anderson, who recently wrote that open letter on her website to the president and Melania. Let's talk about that for a moment, how that received a verifiable, blackout in the United States. It was carried by no one, and you would think even critics of Trump might have pointed to this and the fact that, Assange is an important issue, but you didn't see that anywhere, especially not even in the alternative media.
Well, that's an interesting point you bring up, because we're in the middle of election season, and any Democratic candidate right now could be using this against Trump. Tulsi Gabbard's the only one who's spoken out, specifically Julian Assange by name, standing up for him. And so, yeah, we have the mainstream media that won't stand up to him. We have Democratic candidates that are running that won't stand up for him. This is an easy thing to use against Trump, because this is Trump's administration, Trump's DOJ that's doing this. They're threatening free press and free speech, the First Amendment here. I really, unfortunately, think that a lot of these candidates do agree with Trump, and they've bought into the propaganda that Julian Assange has done something wrong and needs to stand trial, or they just don't care altogether about it. So it is a very interesting situation that we see things like Pamela's letter just not getting any traction. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's reporting on it. Nobody's reprinting it.
Well, not only reprinting it, but, bringing up, we have a debate tomorrow night with the Democrats. And once again, Tulsi Gabbard is the only one that's spoken out on the issue of Julian Assange. And you guys have been promoting a great compilation video of establishment types like Pete Bootlicker and A.B. Know Nothing and, Bernie Sanders and others basically avoiding the issue. And a lot of people think that because Bernie Sanders says he's got this whole program for whistleblowers and Edward Snowden tweeted out about it, that this protects Julian Assange. But it really does nothing of the sort, because Julian Assange isn't a fucking whistleblower. He is a publisher, and he is not a citizen of the United States. He was never involved with taking an oath to say, I won't punish the United States and other countries' corrupt laundry. So his whole thing with this whistleblower, thing screams of bullshit to me. Can you speak to that? Because there's still a lot of people on the left that are supporting Bernie Sanders and his campaign for the presidency.
Yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to journalist Dak Rouleau, who's going around and asking these candidates this question. A lot of journalists won't even touch it. The journalist that did the article, the interview with Bernie Sanders, where he mentioned he would get rid of the Espionage Act and then not let whistleblowers be prosecuted under it, did not bring up Julian Assange. I mean, Bernie Sanders has had plenty of time to say the man's name and say he will or will not stand for him. And his silence is complicit in this. His silence to everybody says, no, he's not going to stand up for him. And we're running out of time, frankly. So the fact that we've had multiple people on our show, supporting Bernie, we try to bring in all sorts of different types of people and candidates' perspectives. We've talked to a lot of people in our chat and on Twitter. Bernie's got a lot of people apologizing for him on this case for why he won't bring up Julian Assange. And, none of the other candidates have supporters that apologize for them. They just say, well, damn it, I wish Andrew Yang would say something. I wish, Elizabeth Warren won't say anything. So for some reason, we have Bernie, who out of all the candidates should really be the one supporting him because, we had the DNC leaks that proved Bernie was getting rigged out of the nomination, and yet he won't stand up for him. So it's very hard to watch the apologies, to watch the excuses that the Bernie camp is giving. We hear the 4D chess that, well, he can't say it now. When he gets the nomination or when he gets elected, maybe he'll say it. We don't have that kind of time. And like you said earlier, Julian Assange is not doing well. We saw October 21st. We luckily saw just a little glimmer of him, abruptly chased him down and found him in a van. And he looks terrible. People who were in the courtroom were just shocked. People were crying in the gallery, apparently. And, friends of his who were at that October 21st hearing were just floored. Craig Murray wrote an amazing article afterwards, just saying how he couldn't believe the signs of torture that he was seeing in his friend. This is serious. We don't have a lot of time. And, we need people in the U.S. to stand up for him. We need politicians. We need candidates. We need we need more people to speak up. And that's what, Action for Assange, when we do our visuals, we try to inspire people not only to take action in their own homes, their own, cities, wherever they live, but we are really trying to push forward and doing action in DC and London when this hearing comes up on February 2020.
Just go back to that compilation video for a moment. You mentioned Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is actually in that video saying that Assange needs to stand trial for the things he's done.
Yes.
So he actually has given an answer. And then even more establishment types like Julian Castro. Julian Castro said that he laughed. He's like, no. And he laughed like it's a funny joke to these fucking people. It's not a funny joke that somebody who has stood by the right to publish the truth, stood by the Fourth Estate, that has just crumbled in this country and really across the world, to be tortured and persecuted over the last 7 years, only to find himself in a situation where he may be dying soon. I don't find anything funny about that. And to me,
we're moving from free speech to human rights now, and our candidates are not standing for human rights.
None of them. Well, they're not my candidates, goddammit, but the candidates that are on the left. I mean, I just don't know how you could support anybody but Tulsi Gabbard, anybody out there that can't even speak in a positive manner about Assange. Action for Assange. The number 4 is the website. Christy, how can people get involved right now with the organization, with you, and kind of become their own decentralized group so they can bring more light and attention to this very important issue?
Yeah. So we are Action for Assange on YouTube. You can watch us Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Watch our show, get educated on the case, learn more about Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. You can take action simply by going to local events and holding signs, handing out flyers. We're always talking about the big
being afraid to have this conversation at the holiday dinner table this Thanksgiving. It's probably one of the most important things that you can actually talk about, other than fucking football or some nonsense issue that doesn't matter. This one actually matters, folks. So you can follow her at Christy Duff on Twitter. She's among a great group. Guys, I'm so sorry about the buffering. I don't know what I'm going to do about this whole YouTube situation where like half of my broadcast gets buffered. I guess I can't go to Periscope because it's the only way I'm monetized at all. Google, you're killing me. Christy, thank you so much. We'll have you back very, very soon. If there's anything you want to push, please get at me. And I'll see all you guys out on the flip side. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.